Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this video, we are looking at division of decimal fractions. So by the end of it, you should be able to divide decimal fractions by whole numbers and also divide decimal fractions by what? Other decimal fractions as well. So without much I say, let's quickly go into it. So the first thing we'll be looking at is how to divide a decimal by a whole number. And it's very simple. That is, if you have a pre-knowledge of your long division. Okay. So if you know how to use your long division, then divide as usual. You see, if you divide as usual, you just place the decimal point in the answer right above the dividend. You get it? So let's look at what this means. So let's start with this first example over here. We have to divide 3.6 by 3, you see. And as I said, if you can use your long division, it will be very helpful. In subsequent videos and then maybe under fractions, we'll look at how we can change this into fraction and then work it. But for now, we want to stick to the long division method. So we have 3.6 divided by 3, you see. So the 3.6 is going to be inside. The 3.6 is what we call the dividend. And then the 3 here is our divisor. You see. So we do our division. 3 divides 3. How many times? 1. And then 3 times 1 gives us a 3. You know, in long division, we take the numbers one after the other. Now, if we subtract, we have nothing. So the next number comes down, which is 6. You see. Then 3 divides 6 how many times? Twice. Now, for every number you are dividing, write it right under it. You get it? So when you're dividing 3, you wrote its answer right on top of it. When you're dividing 6, you wrote its answer right on top of it. So 3 times 2 now gives us a 6. And if you subtract, we have nothing. This here becomes our answer. But the instruction says we have to put the decimal point right above where it appears in the dividend. So this is the decimal point. So we just put it here. You get it? So our decimal point is going to be here. You get it? And then it's going to imply that 3.6 divided by 3 is then what? A 1.2. Very simple. Okay, so for this second example here, let's try it out. So our solution, we have 52.12 being divided by 4. So let's put our symbol here. Then we have 52.12, then divided by 4. You see. So we start by saying 4 divides 5. How many times? Once. So we put our 1 just above the 5. Then 4 times 1 gives us a 4. And if we subtract, we have a 1. We are done with the first digit. So now 2 comes in. 12 divided by 4, we have a 3. So 4 times 3, we have 12 here. And if we subtract, what do we have? We have nothing. We are allowed to bring the next number, which is 1. So I bring my 1 here. So at this point, you see, we have now moved to where the decimal point is. So you can quickly put it there, even before continuing. So we put it there and then we continue. 4 divides 1, that is impossible, you see. So we are allowed to put a 0 here. You get it? Or with instead of saying impossible, let's rather say 4 divides 1 0 times. So 4 times 0 gives us a 0. And if you subtract, we have our 1. You get it? And we are allowed to put our 2 downwards. So 4 divides 12 to give us what? A 3. And 4 times 3 gives us a 12. And we have no other remainder. So this here becomes our answer. That is 13.03 is the answer to 52.12 divided by 4. Let me quickly go over it again. So we have or let me clean it and then we'll go over it all over. So as I said, we do our long division sign, and then we have 52.12, which is our dividend inside, and then our divisor outside. And we are taking them one after the other. So we start with 5. 5 divided by 4, or 4 enters into 5 how many times? We have just once. Then 4 times 1 gives us our 4. So we write that 4 here. Then if we have to subtract, 5 minus 4 gives us a 1. Now down with the first digit. Go to the next digit. We bring it down here so that we have 12. 4 divides 12 how many times? 3 times. So we put the 3 up here, and then 4 times 3 gives us a 12. There is nothing left. Then we go to our next digit. Now before we go to our next digit, we are right at where the decimal point is. So we just take it up. You get it? And at this point, we can now bring our 1. 4 divides 1, 0. You see, 4 can enter into 1 just 0 times. So you put a 0 on top of the 1. And 4 times 0 gives us a 0. And if you are subtracting, we have what? 1 left. And we are allowed to bring this 2. So you put the 2 here. And then we now come again and say 4 divides the whole of 12 how many times? 3 times. So 4, 3, we have a 12. You get it? Now 12 minus 12 gives us nothing. So we can therefore conclude that this here is our answer. 13.03 is our answer if we divide 52.12 by 4. Okay, so let's take this other question here and then see. We have 52.12 divided by 3. You see, this one is going to be a very special case because for this 552.12, we know that this number, even without the decimal, is divisible by 4. But that isn't the case here. So let's see how that is answered. So we have 552.12 divided by 3. If I'm to put my sign here, I have my 52.12 inside, which is our dividend, and then our divisor, which is 3, comes outside. So let's start. Now 3 divides 52 how many times? We know it's certainly just once. So I put my 1 over here, and I say 3 times 1 gives me my 3. If you have to subtract, what do we have left? We have our 2. Then we are allowed to bring this 2 down because certainly 3 is not going to divide this 2. Then we continue and say 3 divides 22 how many times? 7. So our 7 comes on top of this 2, and 7 times 3 gives us a 21. If we subtract that, we have 1 as our remainder. With 1 being our remainder, we are now at where the decimal point is. So we are allowed to bring it up here. Then we say we are bringing this 1 also down here. You see, it's 10. So we have 3 dividing 11. 3 divides 11 to give us what? 3. And 3 gives us a 9. If we subtract 9 from 11, we have what? A 2. You see, then with that now we are on this 2. Let's take it here, 2. We bring the 2 down, and we are allowed to what? Do our division. So 22 divided by 3, that gives us another 7. And 3 times 7 gives us what? 21. Then we bring our remainder 1. That is if we subtract. Now you realize that this now, as me it was a normal division, we would have been tempted to what? Put a decimal point here. Then we can now be adding zeros, and then we'll continue our division. But we don't do that. The reason being that we already have a decimal point over here. You see, there is already a decimal point over here. So you are already authorized to add another 0. You get it? You're already having a 0 here. Hence, we can easily put a 0 here because already you are working in decimals. So like I'm saying a lot of alreadys because everything has been done already. So we come and say 3 divides 10 how many times? Thrice. 3 9. You see? And if you have to continue, it goes on and on and on. This is actually a recurring decimal, you see. So we can just cut it off here and then say the division of this over here is going to give us the answer. That is 17.3733. It goes on and on. So depending on the number of decimal places you want, you end that there. So you see, I intended to also explain how we divide with the decimal by decimals as well, but we wouldn't be able to do that. We would end this over here with the following try work. So you have 5 questions here you can try on your phone. It says you evaluate the following: 0.84 divided by 2, 4.8 divided by 2, 7.5 divided by 3, 1.25 divided by 2, and then 8.12 divided by 8. There are some of them that will just be as the first one over here. Very, very simple, because the divisor is just a factor of the dividend. But for these ones, they are not. Hence, you'd have to apply what we did over here. So see you in the next video, where we'll look at how to divide decimals by decimals. Stay safe, stay blessed, and then bye.